here on CKTV and YouTube, and today we're going to take you through the WWE 12. You can see it on the screen there, of course. I'll take you through one of my universes. I've got 6 different universes, as I told you before on my early 90s game save review. Right now we're looking at the Nitro Era review, WCW Monday Nitro Era. And in this game save, I've got all these different arenas. You've got Great American Bash Arena, Uncensored, of course, Bash at the Beach, Super Brawl, Road Wild, Hog Wild, of course, Saturday Night, of course, Spring Stampede, Worldwide, World War III, Slamboree, all the major arenas from WCW. Of course, you can see there, that is all my arenas. A lot of them I've got nearly all downloaded from that era's pay-per-view schedule. Then we go into my roster of WCW stars. Of course, you can download these off Community Creations. You've got Hogan, Goldberg, Sting, Big Papa Pump, Scott Steiner, of course, Benoit, Scott Hall, Bret the Hitman Hart, Lex Luger, Sid, Raven, DDP, Brian Pillman, Ric Flair, Meng, of course, from the Faces of Fear. So many great characters there. Of course, the Warrior came into WCW in '98. Of course, we've got him in there as well. The different versions of Savage, of course, there's so many different attires. The One-Man Gang, Kevin Sullivan, of course, the Taskmaster, Kamala. So many members of the Dungeon of Doom downloaded there. It's good to have all these characters in the game. Of course, you can download up to 50 additional characters. Juventud Guerrero, Guerrera, La Parca, all the cruiserweights in there as well on my save. We've got so many of the great wrestlers from the Nitro era from 95 to 98 time period in this game save. Well, 95 to 2001 when Nitro finished. Now we'll go in and show you my universe from this particular game save. As you can see there, I'm on the month of May there, which is Uncensored, WCW Uncensored in my universe. Monday's show is WCW Monday Nitro. Then on my Thursday show, I've got WCW Saturday Night, because it's the only slot I could put it in. And then, of course, the Friday show, I've got the NWO symbol there, but it is for WCW Thunder. And then I'll go through all the different pay-per-views there on my card. It's great in WWE 12. You can set up the whole schedule to suit the era or the company you're playing as. Of course, World War III, Starrcade, Clash of the Champions, all the big events from back in the day for WCW. Super Brawl, as you can see. And then I've got my champions here, as you can see. I've got Hollywood Hogan as my World Heavyweight Champion. Kurt Hennig, of course, in his WWF days known as Mr. Perfect, as the US Champion. The NWO, the Outsiders, as the Tag Champs. Of course, Scott Hall, Kevin Nash. And then Dean Malenko as the Cruiserweight Champion, as it would be in that time period for a lot of the time. And you can see the news part of the schedule of the then you can use different symbols then that would have been used in the time as symbols for the shows and symbols for the what's happening in the universe, as you would call it, WWE universe. You can make it whatever way you want. It's unbelievable. And this particular there's the different gangs I have set up. Of course, the Dungeon of Doom, the Four Horsemen, the NWO, of course, WCW built its storylines around many of the different factions and gangs. The LWO, of course, the Latino World Order as well. And then, of course, you had the famous WCW tag teams such as the Harlem Heat, the Nasty Boys, and the different tag teams from that era. There's so much fun in using these different game saves. Like the early 90s one I really enjoyed putting together. Of course, I showed you that the last day, but this one was very good. Is very good as well. As far as storylines and periods in history, I would say a close second to the early 90s would be the Nitro WCW era, as far as my favorite times in wrestling history. Because as you know, a lot of the big names that were in WWF back in the early 90s jumped ship to WCW, and therefore helped the Nitro era be what it was. You know, that's the kind of... So there was something very golden or very special about that group of stars that seemed to, wherever they went, the money was made. Here we go, we've set up a 6-man tag, of course, as part of this review, and it is the Hulkamaniacs team of Sting, Hogan and Savage against the Dungeon of Doom team of the Taskmaster, Kevin Sullivan, Kamala, the Ugandan headhunter as he was called in WCW, and Meng, the face of terror, of course, the man from Tonga, and of course he was known earlier as Haku in the WWF. So a lot of them changed. If they weren't big enough names, they changed their gimmicks and changed their names to when they jumped ship to a different company. But most of them, like Kamala and Hogan, Savage, didn't have to change their personalities because they were, as they say in the business, over with the fans as the gimmick they used in the WWF. So some food for thought there. And there now, this is some tag match. This would have happened, of course, probably on an episode of Nitro, but you can recreate it in WWE 12 because, of course, the Monday Nitro, much like in WWE SmackDown vs. Raw 2011, the Monday Nitro arena is available in the game as a default arena. So it's handy to have in the game. The Stinger, of course, was always the biggest, most popular wrestler in the WCW. And then look at the graphics in this. This is unbelievable. When you look at this and you compare it to what we were getting maybe 3 or 4 years ago, it's just, we have just seen wrestling games come. This is like the Madden of professional wrestling. The Madden games, of course, you can do anything with the NFL teams, American football and stuff. In FIFA today, you can do anything, but THQ doesn't exactly deliver too well when it comes to online stuff. They really do deliver when it comes to being able to do anything and make any era, make any company exist. Bring in all the big names. You can do it all with WWE 12. It's just a great absolutely great. It's totally revolutionary as far as wrestling games goes. You've seen, of course, Sting enter there. This is now Hulk Hogan entering the ring. As part of this review, it's good to have a bit of a match to show you exactly the gameplay. Of course, the Predator technology stands out very much in this particular game. It's really came on from the last wrestling game from WWE, which was, of course, SBR 2011. There you see, of course, Hogan making his entrance. They, of course, their other partner in this match, of course, the Macho Man Randy Savage, making his entrance as part of this big 6-man tag on Monday Nitro on TNT, as they would say. Ted Turner, of course, was the man that brought about this Monday Nitro. September 1995 was the start of the Nitro era, and he, of course, brought that about by giving them the 2-hour slot on TNT, which was his fledgling network at the time. Of course, TBS was the other big network Turner had on American television. But he is, of course, he was the king of cable, Ted Turner, and he brought wrestling shows to a new level with Monday Nitro. Kamala and Meng making their entrance here. The Ugandan giant he was known as in WWF in his runs in 86, 87 and then his other run in 1993. They really made a total gimmick of his character in 93, but he was a feared, in the storyline he was a very feared wrestler in the late 80s, but WCW he became feared again. He wasn't used as a gimmick like the WWF did in 93, which was pretty strange. The Taskmaster now making his entrance. I might add, I did have a lot better cause in the SBR 2011 version for the Dungeon of Doom. A lot of them not as good looking cause, they're not as well crafted as the ones I had in 2011, but it is good to have them in this game as well because you can get all the arenas in this game, whereas in 2011 you could only get the Nitro arena. But look at this, it looks brilliant as far as the wrestling game goes, and the new Predator technology is very, it stands out, a lot smoother gameplay, I would think you would agree. The moves connect better as well, it doesn't look like they're punching air. They're very, very good stuff here. There's a big Ugandan giant Kamala and now. Of course against the Stinger, there's Sting the Macho Man, double teaming. And the crowd look very very clear there as well. There's no like in the other games maybe the crowd would be dimmed out a bit and they wouldn't be as to the forefront as they are in this game. This is just great, absolutely brilliant dynamics as far as the graphics and as far as the gameplay goes. A lot has come on a great deal from the other installments in the past few years. Hogan in now, Hulkamania. What you gonna do? Here's the big leg drop there.
Oh, this isn't good. Oh, lights out.
Have to say, WWE 12 is definitely one of the greatest things ever to come down the chute as far as gaming goes for me. Never mind wrestling games. Gaming, this is just, you could play this for hours and be totally enthralled by it. Well, a geek like me could. And with the WCW Nitro era as well, it's just amazing. But I'll be showing you my different eras in days to come. I'll be uploading different eras, my reviews of the different eras. But this is particularly good. The Nitro Arena in this game is brilliant. I don't like it as much as I like the Nitro Arena from 2011, mind you. I thought it was a lot more realistic. I think they made it look like the WWF, what the WWE would make Nitro look like more this year, whereas 2011 they just carbon copied the actual Nitro Arena. But that's the match over there anyway, as you can see. Big one for the Hulkamaniacs. And it's really cool the way you can recreate these old feuds and these old storylines and use the great colourful characters. One of the greatest things about wrestling is the gimmicks and the colourful characters. I'm going to go into a match here of what would have been in the Nitro era of the NWO era here, and it is a Starrcade. I'm going to play at Starrcade, which was of course a default arena in the game WWE 12, and I'm going to have it as Hulk Hogan here making his entrance as Hollywood Hogan after the NWO heel turn, which shocked the wrestling world. But he's coming in as Hollywood Hogan in this one. He's going to team with Bret the Hitman Hart, who came into WCW in late '97 after the Montreal Screwjob, which led to him leaving the WWF, much to the chagrin of Vince McMahon. And of course, in this one, them two will go up against the Macho Man Randy Savage and none other than the one and only Sting. Hart now making his entrance, of course. Bret the Hitman Hart, not the best crafted of cause that I have downloaded of Bret Hart, but the only one I've done for this era so far. I've got a far better call that I've downloaded for several of my other eras, but this one done it. This one is okay. It's okay. So Hogan and Hart never liked each other personally, but they were put together as a tag team quite a bit in WCW. I'll never know why that happened, but there you go. I think it was part of Hogan always thought he could outshine Hart, and he never wanted him to go against him because he thought maybe he could outshine him in the ring. I think that was part of it. Hogan, of course, always watched his own back, and he had a lot of scope and had a lot of. He made a lot of the decisions as far as in the back for backstage politics. Here comes the Stinger. What an entrance! That entrance has always been well known. So cool, of course. Really got the hair raised in the back of your neck when you see the Stinger enter the ring, much like the Undertaker in the WWF. Especially when he went black and white, of course, which is the part of the whole gimmick here. The white face paint with the black clothing. So amazing the way you can depict all these matches from these eras in this game. And then they've got the NWO, Randy Savage, of course. At a time this match is based around the storyline with Hogan and Savage vying for supremacy as the leader of the NWO. And we're putting it at the Starrcade Arena, which is of course the #1 pay-per-view in WCW history. There, you've got on the back of this car, whoever made the car obviously made it around the time that Savage passed away last year, and they've got on the back of the shirt R.I.P. Macho Man, which is a pretty nice, it's a nice tribute to him. But here now we've got Hogan and Sting starting off, and there's something I just want to point out. WCW, for all their main pay-per-views back in the mid-90s, also always put the symbol of the pay-per-view in as a imprint on the ring, on the canvas of the ring, which I always thought was very good as far as design goes. I thought it always looked well. It's something the WWF never done. They've done it in many of their games, but they never seem to do it in the actual pay-per-views, which I think would have helped the whole look of it. But then again, WCW wanted to do something that was different and made their product different, I suppose. They always said, all the people that worked for WCW that had previously worked for the WWF, like Bret Hart and different people like that, Goldberg. Well, Goldberg never worked for WWF until 2003, but Bret Hart and several others, Roddy Piper I think, have been known to have said that it was like a circus in WCW. Nothing was ever very organized. There was no scripts until the final 5 minutes before shows. It was when you turned up at a show, you were expected to just do what you were told, and you never got any insight into what was happening with the storylines. And they said it was a mess in WCW compared to the WWF that had planned for things months and months ahead. But then again, the product that WCW brought out was absolutely brilliant. Having said that, so it's strange that I suppose the talent they had were able to work it in their favour, even though the conditions and work conditions weren't as good. Predator technology, as you can see it again here, is just absolutely brilliant. You can see that the gameplay is so smooth. You think you were watching if you glanced at it, you would think you were watching a the actual show, TV show. That's how good it has got in wrestling games. And that's how good it is in games like Call of Duty and stuff like that. They have always, this last few years, have been revolutionary, absolutely revolutionary as far as war games, army games and that. They've always been very good this last while. And even the games like Halo and that, they're like watching movies. And even the Batman games there recently, of course, Arkham Asylum and Arkham City, they have been very, very revolutionary as far as graphics. You would think you were watching movies. So it's about time really that the wrestling games started becoming like that, and they have. The football games, even the EA games, the EA sports games are absolutely brilliant. But what we need is, what we would need is, everything is done for us right here except for the commentary. Commentary in these wrestling games is absolutely terrible. So repetitive. If they only brought in an alternative commentary team that would suit the eras that you create, but then again you couldn't get them to get all the commentators. Even they got an early 90s style commentary team, or Ventura and McMahon or something, to do that extra bit of commentary that would help the experience as far as trying to recreate the old eras. But unless they do a separate Legends game, I can't see that happening. They did a Legends game, of course, in 09, Legends of WrestleMania, and they done All Stars, but they never used the old commentary teams. But this is good stuff here. Of course, Hogan and Savage in there now against each other in this, as you can see. And when I look at it now, when I play the game, sometimes I think, well, it's a great game. But now when I look at it, I'm not playing at the moment. I'm just watching the recorded footage as I commentate and as I do this review. And you really appreciate how good this game is. And as you can see there, Hogan gets the victory, and Hogan and Hart won the match. So this has been Killster here, reviewing WWE 12, my Nitro and NWO era over the last 2 episodes there, and I really enjoyed doing this review, folks. And stay tuned for more reviews. I'm going to be reviewing my other game saves in the days to come. And thank you very much for joining us. Killster over and up from the game domain. See you later.